What up, everybody? It's the Rottweiler Patriots. I'm Vegas.
And I'm T-Bone.
And we're coming at you with another video today where we're going to be predicting who we think wins each game in Week 2. Last week, I went 10-6 in my games. My partner here, T-Bone, was 8-8 with his predictions. We are going to be competing over the course of the entire season. Feel free to compete along with us. No cheating. Please be honest about your score if you choose to do so. But it's going to be a fun competition throughout the entire season. We got 16 games coming up this week. Now let's get into it with our first game of the week, Thursday Night Football. The Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Minnesota Vikings. The Eagles, coming off of a win over the New England Patriots last week, looked a little shaky on the offense, but their defense came up with some really big plays, generated some early turnovers that created opportunity for them to win that game. The Vikings, coming off of a disappointing loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a game they felt they should have won. Turnovers absolutely killed them. Left a lot of points on the board in a very winnable game. They'll be hoping to bounce back here. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I completely agree, Vegas. Vikings had a lot of turnovers. Eagles looking a little shaky. The Eagles pulled out the win. Eagles are just looking like a better team. Just completely. Vikings aren't looking well. So,
I agree. I think the Eagles definitely pull this one out. Alrighty, Up next we've got the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens. The Bengals coming off of an extremely disappointing loss to the Cleveland Browns where they just looked terrible. Joe Burrow did not look good at all. Whereas the Ravens coming off of a win over the Houston Texans, but it was an ugly, ugly win where it didn't feel like a win. They did not play well at all, and they lost J.K. Dobbins for the season to a torn Achilles. So we're looking at a very interesting matchup where two teams who are supposed to be very good did not play well in the previous week. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Well, Vegas, while the Ravens did pull out the win against the Texans, it was not a pretty win, and unfortunately Dobbins did go down for the year. Bengals did not look good against the Browns, but Bengals have got the Ravens number pretty good, and I think Joe Burrow will bounce back. I got the Bengals.
Yeah, I expect the Bengals to have a bounce-back week as well. Alrighty, our next matchup going to be the Detroit Lions hosting the Seattle Seahawks. The Lions, coming off of a big opening season victory against the reigning Super Bowl champion Chiefs, looked like a really good team. Some questions on defense. Obviously got fortunate with some of those Kadarius Toney dropped passes and not having to play Travis Kelce. But regardless, the Lions still beat a very good Chiefs football team. Whereas the Seahawks, coming off of a disappointing loss where they got blown out in the second half by the Los Angeles Rams. The Seahawks going to be looking to bounce back this one. They still have a good squad regardless of how they played last week. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Completely agree with you, Vegas. I mean, Lions came in and got the win. Seahawks just disappointingly got a loss. Seahawks are not looking like they should or like they thought they would. The Lions, I think they're going to keep up this momentum. I've got the Lions.
I've got the Lions as well. But I think this can be a very entertaining game if the Seahawks can get back to their last season form and if week 1 was just a fluke. Alrighty. Coming in next, we got the Houston Texans hosting the Indianapolis Colts. This game is what we like to call the Battle of Mid. The Texans, not a very good team. The Colts, not a very good team. The Texans with an ugly loss to the Baltimore Ravens last week. C.J. Stroud completed his first career pass to himself, but ultimately just got overwhelmed by a better Ravens team. Whereas the Colts almost pulled one out against the Jaguars. Were leading in the second half. Unfortunately, the Jags did make a second half comeback to win the game, but Anthony Richardson looked really promising in that game. Obviously some mistakes, obviously got a lot to learn, but of all of the rookie quarterbacks in the NFL, he looks like the best one in week 1. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, Vegas, and it's interesting because I thought he'd be the most raw. I thought he'd be throwing picks left and right. Didn't do so much of that. Still got the loss. Both teams got the loss last week, and it's going to be interesting to see both rookie quarterbacks play. But honestly, I like Richardson's chance on this week. Stroud didn't do much. I got the Colts.
I got the Colts as well. I just think they're the better team at the moment. Alrighty, our next matchup going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Chicago Bears. The Bucs coming off of a big upset win over the Minnesota Vikings where they generated some turnovers. Their defense stepped up in a big way. Baker Mayfield looked really good, like his former self on his 2020 season with the Browns where he won a playoff game and put up good numbers. Had a great connection with Mike Evans, whereas the Bears coming off of a disappointing blowout loss to the Packers where they quickly learned they were not as good as they thought they were. Justin Fields did not look good at all. The Bears defense still looked like it had a lot of holes. They just got absolutely dominated by the Packers. So big advantage to the Bucs in this one based off of play. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Justin Fields, what happened? I rooted for you last week. I thought you would take a step forward. I'm realizing now it's not it's not the Bears. It's Justin Fields. Buccaneers played well. Baker's playing good for his 4th try. I know I'm a Baker hater. But anyways, I've got the Buccaneers. Fields ain't that guy.
I've got the Buccaneers too. Alrighty, up next we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jaguars coming off a comeback victory over the Indianapolis Colts last week. Looked a bit shaky at the start, but were able to come out in the second half and make it happen. Trevor Lawrence to Calvin Ridley looks like a really great connection. They looked really good. Whereas the Chiefs, coming off of a disappointing Week 1 loss to the Detroit Lions, they just couldn't get it done. Missing Travis Kelce, missing Chris Jones, obviously haunted by Kadarius Toney's dropped passes. But they still got Reid, they still got Mahomes, they still got a good team. They're gonna be in every single game they play. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Completely agree, Vegas. Completely agree. Chiefs lost last week. Kind of sucks to see, but Chiefs are a better team overall. Jags are going to be good, though. I think this will be a close game. I got the Chiefs personally.
I've got the Chiefs as well. I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to get revenge for their playoff defeat last year. Alrighty, up next we've got the Atlanta Falcons hosting the Green Bay Packers. The Falcons coming off of a Week 1 win over the Carolina Panthers where honestly they didn't look that great. Desmond Ridder barely threw the ball, really relied on that run game, but Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. Defense looked solid, but they were also playing a young and inexperienced Panthers team, whereas the Packers coming off a big blowout win over the Chicago Bears. Jordan Love looked pretty good in that one, but I don't think we really learned enough about him because they were playing the Bears, who just aren't that good of a football team. Regardless, the Packers still have a lot of talent on their team and still have a pretty solid defense. Still have a really good running back tandem, so I expect them to have the advantage in this one. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I agree, Vegas. Aaron Jones was looking amazing. Jordan Love was looking good. Like you said, I'm not sure how much that tells us because it's the Bears, it's Week 1, but still, I like it. Falcons played not a great team. Sorry to say that, Panthers. Falcons weren't great. I think they may put up a little bit of a fight, but I've got the Packers.
I have the Packers winning as well. I just think they're a better football team overall. Alrighty, up next, we've got the Buffalo Bills playing host to the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bills coming off of a very disappointing opening loss to the New York Jets, in which they were playing an Aaron Rodgers-less Jets team. Josh Allen did not look good. 4 brutal turnovers that absolutely hurt the team and potentially cost them the game. Defense wasn't able to stop Zach Wilson when they needed to. Whereas the Raiders coming off of a very ugly win over the Denver Broncos. The Raiders not a very good team. The Broncos not a very good team. And so not a lot to expect from them there. Regardless of a Week 1 win, they're just not that good of a team. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Raiders aren't good. Bills stunk last week. Just absolutely smelled like duty. But it's still Josh Allen, still Stephon Diggs. Raiders aren't looking good at all. I got the Bills.
I got the Bills as well. This should be a good bounce back week for them, whereas the Raiders going to be brought down to earth a little bit more. Alrighty, up next we've got the Tennessee Titans hosting the Los Angeles Chargers. The Titans coming off of a disappointing loss to the New Orleans Saints in which Ryan Tannehill threw 3 terrible interceptions. They lost by only 1 point. Questionable decision, by their head coach, Mike Vrabel, to kick a field goal with 2.5 minutes to go. The team never saw the ball again after that. Chargers coming off of a loss to the Miami Dolphins where they scored 34 points but did not win because they were playing a good Dolphins team, but the defense couldn't get it done, especially late when they had the lead. Couldn't protect the lead. Both teams gonna be wanting to bounce back after difficult, close losses. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Yeah, Vegas. Kind of hurt to see the Titans lose. They're certainly got a couple of pieces that I like. Chargers did real good things last week, just weren't able to finish it out. I think that defense may be a little bit of a problem. Started to show some chinks in their armor, but you got Herbert, you got Eckler, you got that wide receiver trio. I got the Chargers.
I got the Chargers as well. I think they come into town and take care of Tennessee. Alrighty, up next, we've got the Los Angeles Rams hosting the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams with a surprising victory over the Seattle Seahawks. They looked much more like their 2021 selves. Whereas you've got the San Francisco 49ers coming off of a blowout win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. So both teams with blowout wins, both teams looking to improve to 2-0 in a big divisional matchup. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I think San Fran is really going to smack the Rams. The Rams have showed that they can mean business, but that defense, the electric offense, no. San Fran's going to do some business. I got the Niners.
I do have the 49ers as well, but based off of the Rams' play last week, I think this has the potential to be a very entertaining game. You never know with in-division matchups. Alrighty, up next, we've got the Arizona Cardinals hosting the New York Giants. The Cardinals coming off of a tough loss to the Washington Commanders, where they led early on in the second half but couldn't do anything after that. They looked better than I think most people expected them to, but I still don't think they are a very good team. Whereas the Giants, coming off of a clobbering by the Dallas Cowboys, lost 40-0. Anything that could go wrong for the Giants did go wrong. And so they're going to be looking to bounce back in a big way in Arizona this week. T-Bone, your thoughts?
You know, as the fantasy owner of the Dallas Cowboys, it felt good to see this happen, but also, you know, kind of also sucks. Cardinals didn't do good at all. Giants did not get a single point on the board. That being said, I think the Giants, they got Barkley. They got some pieces on defense. I think they can really make Josh Dobbs lose his head. I got the Giants.
Yeah, I think the Giants get a bounce-back victory. I expect Brian Daboll to rally the troops and make something happen this week. They definitely need it. If they lose to the Cardinals team, the Giants have a lot of questions to be asked of them. Alrighty, up next, we've got the Dallas Cowboys playing hosts to the New York Jets. The Cowboys coming off of a monster win over the New York Giants, where they just did everything right. 40 points scored, none conceded, just a dominating, smothering victory. Whereas the Jets, coming off of a tight overtime win on a kickoff punt return over the Buffalo Bills. However, a sour taste left in the Jets' mouth due to the Aaron Rodgers Achilles tear, and you just can't help but feel bad for the Jets and for their fans. They had so much hope going into this year. It's brutal to see that for them. But regardless, they still have a good team. They still have some good offensive weapons, especially with Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, Garrett Wilson. They still have a very, very good defense. So this could be a very interesting matchup. It will be down to Zach Wilson. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Depending on how Aaron Rodgers played last week, this may have changed my answer. But seeing that he didn't play a whole lot and won't be playing a whole lot, prayers for his recovery. And seeing how good the defense did last week for the Cowboys, I got the boys.
I think the Cowboys have the advantage, too. I think their team while not as well built as the Jets, due to the Zach Wilson factor, I think they're going to have the edge in this one. Alrighty, up next, we've got the Denver Broncos hosting the Washington Commanders. The Broncos coming off of a very disappointing 16-17 loss against the Las Vegas Raiders. The curse of getting to 16 points continues for the Broncos. They looked good for parts of the game. You saw little flashes here and there of what the team could be, but they continue to just be unable to execute and continue to just make bad plays and bad decisions. Whereas the Commanders, coming off of a bit of a shaky win over the Cardinals. The Cardinals, a team everyone expects to be the number 1 overall pick this year, and the Commanders just didn't look that great against them. Had to overcome a 6-point second half deficit. Did get the win 20-16, but still a lot of questions for them, a lot of questions for both teams. This is going to be a really big game for both of these teams. T-Bone, your thoughts?
This is going to be a big game. I liked what Howell did. I think there are a couple of questions, but I think he'll start getting in his zone and start to cook up a little bit. Meanwhile, I am not big on the Broncos. Haven't been. That's part me being a hater and part the fact that I just don't think they've got a good cohesive team. I don't think Sean Payton's going to do much. I got the Commies.
I actually have the Commanders winning this one as well. I just think they're not a more skilled team, but they're more of a team than the Broncos. I think it's a slugfest, but until Denver gets out of its own way, I can't see them doing very much right now. Alrighty, up next, we've got the New England Patriots hosting the Miami Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. The Patriots, coming off of a tough loss to the Philadelphia Eagles where they couldn't overcome early turnovers, just fell short, but they looked like a dynamic football team outside of the first quarter. Their offense was moving really well. Their defense was able to shut down a really, really good Eagles offense, made a couple of big plays. So even though there's a loss, there's a lot of hope for the Patriots this week. Whereas the Miami Dolphins, coming off of a big-time win over the Los Angeles Chargers, 36-34, Tua looked really good. Tyreek Hill was a monster. However, some big questions about that defense, which did give up 34 points to the Los Angeles Chargers. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Dolphins did give up a lot. They did give up a lot. That being said, I think Tua, Raheem, Tyreek, Waddle, they're gonna go in and get to work. I got the Dolphins.
I have the New England Patriots, and I think the biggest factor in the Patriots' favor this week, they're wearing the red throwbacks. I'm just going to throw that out there. They always do well in the red throwbacks. Alrighty, Monday Night Football Part 1. The Carolina Panthers hosting the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers, coming off of a tough loss to the Atlanta Falcons, 24-10, didn't look very good against a not good Falcons team. Bryce Young made several rookie mistakes, showed a couple of flashes, but showed more that he was a rookie with a lot to learn than anything else. Whereas the Saints, coming off of a gritty win over the Tennessee Titans, where they themselves have a few questions, but their defense stepped up in a big way, got 3 interceptions. Derek Carr, outside of one bad pass that got picked off, looked pretty good. Chris Olave played very good. They've obviously got Michael Thomas. And overall, the Saints are a pretty good team. It's still their division to lose at this point. T-Bone, your thoughts?
I'm going to sound like a little bit of a homer, but dare to dream. I think that they'll take a step forward. How the Saints performed against the Titans was not reassuring. Carr came up big in the fourth quarter, but still. I think maybe Bryce Young can work some magic. I know they're going to trade this year, so either they're going to win this one, lose the next one, or lose this one, win the next one. I got them winning this one. I feel like they need to get to work. I got the win for the Panthers.
I've got the New Orleans Saints coming into Bank of America Stadium and getting it done. I think it can be a very entertaining team, but I just don't think the Panthers are gelled enough. They're not meshed enough. I think they're going to grow over time as the season goes on, but I don't think they're at a point yet where that growth has occurred, where it can win them games against better teams like the Saints. Alrighty, and finally, we've got the Pittsburgh Steelers hosting the Cleveland Browns in the other Monday night matchup. The Steelers coming off of a big blowout loss to the San Francisco 49ers, who are obviously one of the best teams in the NFL, but Kenny Pickett did not look good. The Steelers looked ugly. Their defense wasn't able to get a lot going. TJ Watt, kind of the lone bright spot for them, whereas the Cleveland Browns were able to defeat the Cincinnati Bengals in ugly fashion. Deshaun Watson looked terrible, but the Browns were able to win in spite of them with good defensive play, and with Nick Chubb making some things happen. T-Bone, your thoughts?
Thanks, Vegas. Both quarterbacks don't look great. Pickett, Deshaun, both not great. That being said, I like a couple more pieces on the Steelers, the defense. I like Tomlin a little bit better. I got the Steelers winning. I think it'll be close, though. I think it really will be close, but I got the Steelers.
I've got the Steelers getting the win as well. I think home matchup, divisional game, you never know what can happen. Browns, I think, are an underrated team, have a decent defense, but I think the Steelers are going to be able to come away with this one. Well, I think that's every single game. We only differed on, I'm pretty sure, the games where our teams played. We each had our own team winning, and we each had the other's team losing, so our records are going to look pretty similar this week. Well, anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you all so very much for watching. Please be sure to hit the like button. Please be sure to subscribe, and we will see you all in the next video.